welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my March TBR. Like, March? Really? I feel like it was just New Year's. I cannot believe how fast this year is flying by, it feels like. I did pick out 5 books that I want to read this month, plus I have some other books here from the library. I don't know if I'll get to them or not. No pressure. If I get to them, I get to them. If not, then it's okay. And then I'm going to pick a couple things from my TBR jar just to put on my list. So I will say that last month I did not read one thing that was on my TBR. Oh no, I'm sorry. I did. I read one book that was on my TBR. One out of 5 books and 2 graphic novels that I had read last month. Like, I read one. And it wasn't even a book I owned. It was a book I had gotten from the library. So let's just hope that I read these books this month. If not, you know, whatever. As long as I'm reading, I guess that's all that matters. But the whole reason I make these TBRs is because I want to read these books, so I should be reading them. So I'm not going to put the books that were already on my TBR for last month on this month's TBR because obviously I wasn't in the mood to read them. And, yeah, so let's just get into it. I am currently reading 2 books, so I want to talk about those first. The one book actually was on my TBR for last month. I did pick it up in February, but I didn't finish it, so that I'm going to continue on with that, and that is City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. This is book 2 in the Mortal Instruments series. I'm about 100 pages in. I am reading and listening to the audiobook of this one, and I'm really enjoying it so far. And, you know, these are like super quick reads. They're huge books, but like the writing's huge and they're simple and quick. So yeah, I'm sure it won't take me long to get through this. But the next book that I'm hoping to get through in the next couple of days, we'll see, is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This is book 1 in her Caraval series. I guess it's the first book, and I think it is also a debut novel, but I'm not exactly sure. I picked this one up, and I just picked this one up today, and I'm 50 pages in so far. I read for about 20 minutes, and I love it. I really, really like it. I was kind of nervous because I was excited about this book when I first heard about it, but then I was seeing reviews on it, and people weren't impressed, so I was nervous to pick it up, and then I picked it up, and I love it so far. So we'll see if I continue to love it, but I really want to get this one read in the next couple of days or so because it does need to go back to the library. And it has holds, of course, so I can't keep it. But, you know, what can you do? And then one of 2 things can happen. Every month I told you guys that I wanted to read either a classic or a nonfiction. It would be nice if I could read both of those every single month, but you know, let's be honest, that's probably not going to happen. So last month I didn't read a classic, but I did read a nonfiction. So this month I would like to read a classic because you know, that's part of the plan, right? So I have 2 options. I can read a nonfiction because I do have I Am Malala. This is by Malala Yousafzai. I think that's how you say her name. And Christina Lamb. So this is nonfiction. Obviously, it's about a girl that was shot by the Taliban in the head, I think, and she lived. So it's about her story. She was standing up for education, and they shot her. Now, I did pick this up last month, but I didn't get very far. But I did like what I had read so far, so we'll see. I can either pick that one up for my nonfiction read, or for my classic, I have Peter Pan, and this is by J.M. Barrie. I've never read this, and I have this beautiful edition. This is the Puff and Chalk edition, and I've had it for a really long time, so it's short and sweet, and then I will have read another classic, so we'll see. We'll see what I'm in the mood for. I do have 2 options, so I'll see what happens. And then I want to, Julie over at Pages and Pens just like flew through all of Sarah J. Maas's books, and I've only read the first 2, and I loved both of them, and I just never continued, and I have all the books in her Throne of Glass series and the first book in her Court of Thorns and Roses series, so it motivated me. Like, she was loving the books, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really keep saying that I'm going to pick those up, and I just really want to pick them up. So I'm going to pick up Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series, And, you know, it is a pretty big book, but I love Selena. I think she's pretty badass. And it's fantasy, and I'm kind of in a fantasy mood right now. So hopefully I get to this one this month. And then I actually just picked this one up from Target yesterday. I don't know if you guys know, but right now, I think through the weekend, so I think it ends on March 4th, I think. So by the time you guys see this video, it'll probably already be over. But just in case the sale is not over, all of the books at Target are an additional 20% off. So I was just browsing, and they actually had quite a few books that they had signed editions of, and I've seen other people get signed editions of books from Target, but I never see them at my own Target. So when I saw them, I was like, oh, that's pretty awesome. And this book caught my eye. It's called A Study in Charlotte, and this is by Brittany Cavallero. It is a signed first edition, and I got this book for $6. So this is the first book in the Charlotte Holmes series. And the second book I think just came out recently, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry guys, I'm losing light right now. But this is the first book in that series, and it was definitely a cover buy for me. I think I looked at the ratings, it was like 3.5 stars or 3.7 stars or something, which is a little low, but it was $6. It's a signed first edition, and I just love this cover. And actually the second book, which is a hardcover, because the second book has the same like aesthetic, just different colors, so I'll definitely want to pick that up, hopefully, if I like this one. So basically this follows Sherlock Holmes' like great niece and her friend, and I think what happens is her and her friend are framed for murder, and so it's them trying to prove that they didn't murder this person. It's really cool because this is a Target edition, and inside there's like a letter from the author that kind of talks about why she wrote this book. And apparently as a child she was like obsessed with Sherlock Holmes and Conan Arthur Doyle, so there was just a point in her life when she was like, why isn't there a female detective? Like, why not? There's been all these adaptations of Sherlock Holmes, movies, TV shows, books, retellings, all of that, but there's never been like a female Sherlock, pretty much. So she set out to create that, and that's what this book is. So, you know, I'm really excited about it. Love the aesthetic of the book, and I cannot wait to read it. Plus it's signed, which I think is pretty cool because I got it for $6. Okay, so those are all 5 books that I've picked up for myself for this month. Alright guys, let's pick out a couple of things from here. Okay, so the first one I picked out is The Battle of the Labyrinth, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the 3rd book in the Percy Jackson series, which is the book that I'm on, so that's pretty awesome. I will be picking that one up this month. So I know I said that the Battle of the Labyrinth is book 3 in the Percy Jackson series, but in fact it is book 4. So instead of the Battle of the Labyrinth, I will be reading The Titan's Curse, which is book 3 in the Rick Riordan series, because that is the book that I am on. And then the second book that I picked was Insurgent. You guys can't see these. Why do I show them to you? Is Insurgent by Veronica Roth, which is the second book in the Divergent trilogy, which I do have, and I've been meaning to pick up for a while. So that gives me a total of 7 books. Here's 5, and then I have the other 2 on my shelf that I need to get for the month, and I think that'll be pretty good. I do have some graphic novels that I have on hold at the library that I will want to read. I do have some other books on hold, so if they come through, I may or may not read those as well. Like I said, this last month was a short month for me, and I read 5 books and 2 graphic novels, which is really good for me, and I've just been like flying through them really quickly. I've just been really in the mood for reading, so hopefully that momentum keeps going, because what I've noticed is like the very beginning of the month I'll read like a book or 2, and then the next like week and a half I won't read at all, and then I'll pick up at like the very end of the month and like read a bunch. So hopefully I can just like be consistent and like read every, you know, my goal is to read a little bit every night before I go to sleep, just because it relaxes me and it helps me get to sleep. So hopefully I can keep that going, but we'll see. Yeah, and let me know what you guys are reading this month. Let me know if you've read any of these. You know, if any of them are your favorite, which, you know, if you're like, oh, I want you to read this one, you should read that one first, or, you know, you shouldn't read that, or, you know, but no spoilers, of course. And I look forward to talking to you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.